probably time to have another James Cook talk. You know? I mean, game after game is going by, and he's just killing it. Like, it's kind of enough already with what he isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, this other guy will play more snaps. This guy can catch the ball better. This guy's bigger. All the different areas where individually he might not be like very top notch, but what he is, not what he isn't. What he is here now, and now being like the last 2 years, it says a lot. Like it's working. I mean, that's just the very most modest way to put it. And Allen, again, yesterday, and you can make excuses for this, like who they played and everything, but, he didn't need to really carry them. And because Cook is doing enough. Like, the line is good. And the threat that Allen poses, of course, makes it easier. And that's been one of my counterpoints on him. Well, both of those things, actually. Like, you've got to have the blocking, and you want to have the quarterback being the running threat and just the overall threat that Allen is. I mean, James Cook has it good here. There's no question about that. But he's doing about as much as you could do with it, given how much he plays.
Yeah.
And what has happened to Davis, if anything,
is
interesting.
That's what I'm waiting to bring up here is I mentioned it with Eric Wood. Like I know file this under I wish I had your problems, right? Like I'm wondering what happened to the Bills' backup running back, right? That's my concern today is what's going on with the backup running back. But like there was more of a timeshare last year. Cook was ahead of the other two, but Davis was like getting equal time with Ty Johnson, basically, I think, is the way it worked. I don't know if that shook out in touches necessarily. It certainly wouldn't have been receptions because Johnson was their third down back and caught more passes, I'm pretty sure, than Ray Davis, although I got to go back and look at last year. But Davis is a ghost. I mean, again, another game goes by here, and we're talking about what? One carry?
Yep.
So
for 3.
It's not. On one hand, you could say like that's not going very well, but on the other hand, he's not even really getting he's getting one carry in a game. I'm supposed to draw conclusions about like is something wrong with him or something? They don't like blocking for him or something. I'm not positing any of that. I just think it's very interesting that Cook is being trusted with that much more of a workload. And this is not me saying he doesn't deserve it. He's always been the most talented of those 3 guys. But the question for me about his usage in the previous season, and if you want to go back further than that, but really last year was the breakout year, and then we started talking about a contract. It was like, no, they like doling it out the way they're doling it out. Davis will have a role. Ty Johnson absolutely has a role. That hasn't really changed with Johnson, but Davis just does not exist here from a getting touches standpoint. And I hope, because I don't know, maybe Cook, we've never seen him do it. Maybe he can handle 56 or 60% snap share up from 47 or 48 or whatever it was last year. I just want to be careful about it. Like his value, it's switched to me now. He's demonstrating how good he is and thus how valuable he is, that I want to make sure I don't overdo it. Because I'm not ready to assume that Ray Davis can just do something similar to what James Cook is doing. It looks like the Bills don't think that anymore.
Well, is that how you've thought about this before this year? Because I can't say that I have. I mean, it's not going to be necessarily identical because, one guy was a better prospect and has more time with the starters, timing and all of what goes into executing these plays. It's not really a fair fight. But I would say it's been close enough. When Cook missed a game last year, Davis was fine in his stead. So to me, part of the thinking on Cook is like, I don't think I'd miss him if he's not there. And for a lot of the summer, we were thinking about that possibility. Like, will he be there? So, I mean, it's not as easy to say that now.
No, I don't want to say it at all. In fact, what I'm saying is protect him. because I don't think it's as interchangeable. I think I was mistaken to have thought that it wouldn't be that big of a deal if he weren't there, or if they didn't pay him, if he got mad and went home, or whatever we were talking about before the contract extension happened. I'm not. I don't think you can assume that anymore with how it's going.
But is that...
But again, Davis hasn't really even gotten the chance, which is maybe the most curious part about it at all, that he doesn't have a game with 7 carries even yet. It just is not happening.
Yeah, well, he has not gotten anywhere. I wonder, Cook has been very good, and there's no need necessarily to look harder at it than that. I mean, he has deserved his volume, and he's paid them off. But like Davis this year is 11 for 29. He had 9 carries in the Jet game for 24 yards.
Okay.
And, that was a blowout.
Right.
But he didn't get anywhere. And in the other 3 games, he's combined 2 for 5. And he has 1 catch for -1. Like, there's nothing happening.
I heard a bit of the pregame show yesterday. Jeremy and Joe were talking about this, and I heard Jeremy make the point, and I don't have this. It's easy enough to do. So maybe I can do it in a few minutes here. But look at the games where Davis carried the ball significantly, and the games now last year the game scripts might not be. The final scores may not be indicative of what the game was like in the second quarter or the third quarter, right? But the games where he got touches, that Cook played. Of course, the Jet game is an exception because Cook missed that last year and Davis was the number 1 guy in that game. But the other games, the games where the Bills win by a lot, are the games where he gets the touches.
Sure.
Just like the Jet game, which makes sense. So what I think Jeremy was driving at, and maybe this is a sensible way to look at it, is that, at least I would say this for myself, hearing Jeremy point that out made me think, maybe I overreacted to a few blowouts. Like, there's not as much of a timeshare as we think. Whatever the snap percentages are affected by what the game situation is. So if Davis is eating into James Cook in games that they're comfortable in, well, that makes sense. You want to protect your number 1 guy. But it's not like they're getting a change of pace for Davis in a game that's tight. It's our number 1 guy's out there. Like we're playing our dude. Well,
let me say here, yes and no. He had 3 games last year where he had double-digit carries. One of them is Week 18, where Cook sat most of the game, not all of it. He scored his touchdown.
Brought him in to score his touchdown, right?
Number 1 is the Jet game where Cook was inactive. Number 3, because the Week 18 New England game is number 2. That can be discounted. Number 3 is San Francisco. And that game did get away from San Francisco, but the Bills' second drive is a Davis drive. But he scores the touchdown to finish the drive.
All right.
He puts them up 7-3.
Good.
That game did become, kind of a blowout. But still, like, it was before they got ahead. Where Davis was like, that's just one game.
Right. But still, that's a game that you would have in mind where he got a lot of touches and it ended up being a crooked score. But no, so what they're not doing is, if they are getting him a series early, he's not getting anywhere, and then that's it. Like, we're done. We're done for the day. James Cook and Ty Johnson, you go have at it here. And I wonder if they will make some effort to try to reestablish that. Because I do think it is important to protect. It's more important now, I feel like, with the way these first 4 games have looked, to make sure you are protecting Cook and not overdoing it. And Davis is the answer to that. So let's see if you can get him going so that you've got, the alternative and the opportunity to make sure you're pacing Cook effectively. I don't want to get to December and January and have a guy that has, like, he's got an all-time high in carries and maybe looks like it.
Yeah, I get that. Well, Cook is still young enough, right? Like, he's not We're not talking about Barkley off 400 touches or and they have limited him coming into this year. And I don't think it matters what they're paying him for any of this. So it feels like it's okay, But what you're saying is just you got to be careful. And, of course, that's right. But it feels like it's okay, I wonder if something is different with Davis. I haven't heard anything, but and it wasn't like he's never been lightning or anything like that. I mean, Davis is a big physical runner, but he's not somebody who's going to, usually break plays off for you. And I don't know if this year if it's been enough to even be able to cast a fair judgment. It's just like he doesn't have a good play yet.
I'm trying to remember. That's right. I'm trying to remember if there was anything in the summer that he talked about, even as camp was beginning, I wanted to get a little lighter or something. Did he change? I wonder if he changed anything. That doesn't have to explain whatever's happening because it's 4 games. And so it's not just one game, but it is still a very small, his attempts is a very small sample size. It's 4 games, which is not that small, but 11 carries in those 4 games. I can't draw conclusions at all. I don't think it would be right to about did he change something and therefore he's not as effective anymore.
And again, it's not just 11 carries, it's 2 in 3 of the games.
Right.
Total.
Right.
And it's 9 in garbage time against the Jets.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really it's a super backup role.
He's not really a part of the offense right now at all.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's Davis, but Cook, I mean, he's second in the league in rushing behind Jonathan Taylor. He's first alone in rushing touchdowns,
5,
with 5, which last year he tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns. He got 21 rushing touchdowns in 21 regular season games. And how many games in a row? 7 or 8 in a row? This is record stuff.
It's 8 now. Yeah. It was 7 going into yesterday, and they got him his touchdown, and so that goes on.
A caller to postgame wanted to, I don't know. I'm not trying to hide from how I felt about Cook in the past, which is just to say, he's good, but I'm not going to go crazy. And I think at times the conversations I've gotten into with callers and with people are people who sound like they're just way up here on him. The one guy calls us once in a while to talk about OJ.
Right.
And first team All-Pro stuff. I mean, he might have a look at that this year. He'll have to keep this up. Still, to me, and you don't have to agree with this, but the very top tier of guys, yesterday's guy he's got to be top 5 in the league. And, I said, because I'm, a stubborn Scorpio, I said, do we need to do top 5 in the league at week 4? You can do anything you want whenever you want to do it. But is it time to recalibrate that list and maybe take Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry off of it? Do we need to do that? At the end of the season, we'll want to do that. You want to do that today, you can.
He's outperforming them both now.
By far.
There's no question about that.
By far. Taylor, Bijan, Gibbs, Genty yesterday. I mean, he's an elite all-time prospect. ETN even, I have to say, he's somebody. I don't draft Cook and I don't draft ETN. And this year,
he had a big run yesterday. Yeah, early.
He had a big game too. I mean, the thinking there quickly was new regime, holdover running back who's only been this level of efficient. Maybe they'll make a change, but they absolutely have not. That they've leaned into him. So, okay, Jacobs last night, whatever. I mean, you could.
Top 5 in the league right now is not outrageous. He's leading the league in rushing and or up there at the top and leading the league in rushing touchdowns. It's not heresy to say he's ranking there.
I think you can say that.
Yeah. So what? I don't know. I'm going to hang on to the usage thing. Not to have a gotcha moment if something happens to him. I just, he does. I heard Eric, I don't think he got into it with us very much, but I heard him talking about this, I think, with Chris and Steve earlier today. He doesn't get hit, really. He's very good about, getting down when he needs to get down and just avoiding any kind of really big contact. But that's not even, I think that way more about a quarterback than I do a running back. It's not nothing, but to me, just you're leaning on a guy for 20 plus carries a game, just anything. Like the turf. I mean, the turf got Malik Neighbors yesterday. Thankfully, the Bills don't play at MetLife Stadium, but anything can get you. So I just want to be careful about how much I'm leaning on him at this point. But he's been excellent, and he has deserved the carries. I just hope they don't go too hard at it.